About 2.5 years in, there was a lot. I think, like, in terms of the art industry there, I didn't even realize until after I graduated that I was the first Black woman to be admitted and to graduate. The structure of the academy is that almost every 2 weeks, we have an artist flown in from somewhere in the world to come workshop us. By the time you graduate, you have a CV. I was working crazy hours, producing, acting, traffic for 947, and I was doing weekend. So I was sleeping this much. The industry was like, no, you need a degree or you need to be like a thespian to come into the industry. And for me, I was like, okay, then I'll go get that degree. Okay. And this time I'm going to go get an international one.
Hello family, and welcome to yet another episode of Seen and Heard, a platform that makes you feel seen and heard. And I am with my co-host,
Luto Dala.
Today we have a very special guest. She is a voiceover artist, she's an actor, she's an entrepreneur, she's a writer. You know, she is the epitome of multifaceted, and her name is Duduzile Mathonsi. Miss Ma'am.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
Welcome.
Thank
You
you.
acted a bit shy there. I was like,
No, I have to warm you up. I'm
Yes.
marinating.
No,
you know?
Marinating.
Once it goes into the oven, it's going to cook. Don't you
It's a
worry.
good thing you mentioned that because we want to start off with a fun little icebreaker.
Okay.
We're going to be doing a movie quiz.
Oh, I am
based on
so
film.
terrible at those.
Ah, you're going to
Right?
be good. Don't
I
worry.
am sorry.
Everyone feels like they're bad at this. It's not like 60 seconds. Everyone feels like they're bad at this. But no, these are good questions. Are you ready?
I really am confident that you gonna know them.
Me
At least
too.
one of them. I heard one of them.
You don't want to embarrass me.
No.
but-
You're going to get them. Don't worry. I'll give you options.
Okay.
Okay, so here's the question. Who plays the junior members of staff in The Devil Wears Prada?
Anne Hathaway.
Correct.
Yes.
Didn't even need options. See, easy.
There's more.
I'm gonna ask you one more after this one. Don't worry. Who voices Darth Vader in the Star Wars movies? I'm gonna give you options.
Okay.
Morgan Freeman, Samuel L. Jackson, James Earl Jones, or Denzel Washington.
I'm not sure if the person's black.
These are
You
all
sure?
black men.
This sounds like one name that's not black.
Who's?
Shall I name them again? Morgan Freeman, Samuel L. Jackson, James Earl Jones, and Denzel Washington.
Samuel L. Jackson does usually the voice of God. Or no, it's the other guy. They look alike.
The other guy. The other guy. What we do know is it's definitely not Denzel.
No, it's definitely
Sharp, so-
I mean, he's got a very distinct voice.
Yes.
So name those other two again. Sorry,
There's three, but there's Morgan Freeman, Samuel L. Jackson, and James Earl Jones.
Morgan Freeman. He does usually the
He does
God
the God
voice.
one, yeah.
So I don't know. I would, let's go with him. He
Morgan
usually
Freeman?
has like in the beginning.
Yeah. It is not Morgan Freeman, it's James Earl Jones.
That's the one that sounds white.
Oh, I get you.
You know what I mean?
I get you,
That's
actually.
like, it must be the white guy.
Morgan
Okay.
Freeman has
It's
this.
this very
Yeah,
distinct
he plays like
voice.
God and like Bruce Almighty and all these other.
And Samuel L.
Yes.
Jackson as well has a very like.
You think so? I don't hear it.
Samuel
I
has
think
more of a-
it's not dominant, but it's distinct.
Right.
I
get
think
you.
the other three, they have their own signature and voice.
Exactly.
This one is more of a neutral type of voice.
Well, Morgan.
I don't know.
Okay, let's ask the last question.
All right.
And I know you're gonna get this one for sure.
All right.
What is the name of Simba's father in The Lion King? Do you need options?
You know who I almost said?
Who?
Mufasa.
I knew
But
it.
I know
I
it's
knew
not Mufasa. Mufasa's the uncle. I know this.
In The Lion
The Lion
King.
King?
Mufasa's not the uncle? Guys,
Dude.
What? I watched The Lion King. Let's
Which
not
one?
reveal my age. The very, very first one, okay? I cried there. I was probably
You know,
a kid.
with this one,
No.
I'm very disappointed in you.
No.
Guys,
Because-
I told you guys you want to embarrass
No,
me.
because on your Instagram,
Yeah, on your
know.
you're
Instagram.
going on about Aaron Pierre Mufasa.
Yeah, you were like, Aaron Pierre.
That's
How
more-
disappointing.
That video trended so bad.
Because
like,
how?
it was
How's it?
like,
I think
on Instagram, I think somebody stole it and it got like 1 million views and it was mentioned on some British newspaper. It was crazy.
Oh,
Really?
He went ballistic. That video went ballistic.
Can you imagine that the answer is actually Mufasa?
I know. That's why I said Mufasa.
No, you said Mufasa was the uncle.
uncle.
You said Mufasa. Isn't that Scar?
That's how I'm like,
That's Scar, isn't it? Yeah.
Now we're scarred.
There's the questions.
Yeah.
It's fine. Ice is broken.
Ice is broken and marinated. We took it into the, you know.
How was Norway?
Norway.
10
years in, I actually just, I studied, I did my bachelor's in acting in Norway.
Wow.
And I literally was like, Norway was the destination. I was supposed to go to Japan and then I ended up in Norway.
Wow.
And then I was Googling like theater English school Norway. One popped up. It's just one.
In the whole country?
In the whole country in terms of a bachelor's degree.
Wow.
And I applied. I was like, this looks so weird. It's very experimental, very contemporary. I applied and I got a letter. Application piqued your interest. We'd like you to come for an audition. And I'm like, does this mean I have to fly to Norway?
Right, yeah.
Oh, no.
Flew to Norway.
So it did mean.
You actually had to fly.
Yeah. It was a physical audition. It was a week long, 3 rounds. People from all over the world.
That's what I was going to say, yeah.
And we're all just, because it's one of the best theater educations in the world.
Oh.
And we're all auditioning and it's like 3 rounds of intense, a whole week. And then I flew back. And at the time I was working for Prime Media. So I was doing 947 and I was also producing for 702. And I came back and I would always ask my station manager, Piladi at the time, can I please get there? Because I was traveling a lot. So I was like, please, can you sign my form? I need to go, the visa application processes. And I came back and within a couple of days, I got a letter to say that we'd like to offer you a position. And a day later, the programs manager was like, and I was like offering me a position to be a producer for Prime on 702. And I remember sitting in the office and I'm like, everybody just came in and be like, we're about to offer you a promotion. I was like, about
that.
I'm gonna go study abroad and I'm gonna leave. And it was interesting because the presenter who had never talked to me, when she heard about it, for the first time, she's like, oh, so I heard that you're going to go travel abroad. You should take it. I was like,
wow.
I was never going to
say
stay.
that.
Is that how making you want to leave? Just like, get out of here.
Of course you're going to say that.
Of course.
Yeah.
Now that you see the potential that I have, you want to talk to me. But anyway, the politics of the industry. Left and I started my semester, studied, and about 2.5 years in, there was a lot. I think like in terms of the art industry there, I didn't even realize until after I graduated that I was the first Black woman to be admitted and to graduate.
Really?
So it's very
confusing.
homogenous. It's very, this is Scandinavia. It's snow bunny galore. It's
just is surprising.
It's the other side of the wall. Game of Thrones. You must understand this.
It's the other side of the wall. Yeah, it's the White Walkers.
It's really really white and it's really really cold. And I think not a lot of Black people. We have winter 6 months of the year. That's crazy, guys. Like the ground is frozen. Nothing can grow.
No.
Yeah, I became a yellow bone. I'm yellow bone by default.
Stop.
No, strop.
The lack of
Bob is my uncle.
Yeah.
I left here dark, a couple of shades darker, but because I had no sunlight for a good 10 years, summer is you get 6 months for winter. Get a little bit of like see this weather now. This is
probably
beginning of summer.
Wow.
And then you get maybe like a month of full-on sun where you get like 28 degrees. If it's 30, they're all freaking out. But it's cold throughout the year. And, and there's a lot of winter depression. And
I can imagine.
And also the reason about the melanin thing is that as Black women, we actually have the highest dose of melanin more than black men because we have to reproduce children and whatnot. So we have to share some of that.
Sorry, I'm just looking at you
Looking
like,
at me.
surely.
Nah,
Not the pigmentation per se.
You're trying to say, sure, you're lighter than me. So what are you trying to get at?
As in the production of it.
The production of it.
And
yeah.
so, like, I lost a lot of that. And so it also affects your mental health. You're popping, like, vitamin D pills that are prescribed. They're going over the counter. Because for them, it's like they don't have that much melanin. And you have to pop, like, pilisengak. I felt like I was having, like, every morning, it's like a bunch of them, like, just happy pills to stay alive. But it was beautiful. Like, I think the school was... the structure of the academy is that almost every 2 weeks, we have an artist flown in from somewhere in the world to come workshop us.
That's cool.
By the time you graduate, you have a CV
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
of working with artists from all over the world in terms of different practices, whether it's voice, whether it's movement, whether it's acting, but also looking a lot into the abstract, allowing yourself to grow, experimental type of situation. And by the end of it, we were doing a lot of group work. So there's 8 of us in the class. That's it. And so I was the only one who was not of Scandinavian descent.
Okay.
And so that was a lot in terms of like group work because some of them had never even been in that much proximity with a black person.
I don't think interacted as much as
like because I was asked questions like, is your hair curly because of the sun? Or like questions that existential questions that I'd never even thought of because I'm like, South Africa is predominantly black. You know, like so we've never really questioned. So it really took me into a place of really learning who am I? What is blackness? And returning me to my roots and also what was Africa before all of this? Because Europeans know their history.
Yeah.
And ours is buried. And then so you go into the loopholes of great African civilizations and you're like, you know what? Actually, I am everybody's born of a womb that looks like mine. Like, excuse me?
Yeah.
You know, and so after that I decided that I was going to do a solo piece as my graduation exam. And everybody went into groups. I was okay with it. My director, Carmen Lara Eli, who used to lecture at NYU, was like, you know, just bank everything. And when the time is right, bank your darlings. When the time is right, you'll create. And I got some leave time to do my own research and to really work with my own artistic practice. Did my piece called Bitch, Where the Fuck Is My Manifesto? It's a one-woman piece. And Manifesto was my gift to myself and also my release to being indifferent in the space that I was in. And it was like, I'm so tired of explaining myself. Here is something where I'm claiming my power back. And also, there was a lot of the time with a lot of the femicide that was happening in South Africa. And I was like, gosh, I have an experience of that as well. But although I'm far removed now, I can actually see where it resonates. So the piece works a lot with voice and movement. Lots of the 80% of the script is just pure poetry. And when we presented, you have like scouts coming in to judge or like to give you notes. After that, the director of Black Box Theatre Oslo, which is, I think, the biggest black box in Norway, and she was like, your piece is ready. I'd like to put it into theatres. And I was like, okay. And she's like, in the autumn, we're coming in. And I was like, oh, okay. So my piece was like, by the time I graduated, I already knew that this piece has a life of its own. And I remember I performed on Women's Day. It was Women's Day, and 2 days later, the gates of the world shut down during COVID.
So it's 2020.
And my word.
COVID has taken like a lot of things from people, I'm not gonna lie.
But I have been I would say divine intervention.
Right.
Because by God's grace, I toured in COVID. And because I think maybe Norway didn't have so much exposure as well, and they were very on in terms of masks, and you could go test. The centers were everywhere.
Okay. Okay. So they were very ready.
They're very ready. And the town I was living in was the green zone of Europe. as in it had the least COVID cases.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So we could go to bars until 10 o'clock during COVID, as long and like the main city like Oslo couldn't, for instance. Like we had freedom, and
What a different
Put it
world.
lightly.
it was
You
a
were
whole
living-
different world. I was living a whole different
Like,
COVID version
yeah,
than
like,
everyone else.
Because I'm sure when you came back to South Africa, like
It was crazy.
it was a completely different landscape.
I
but-
couldn't travel until I was stuck until 2021, and I would travel home every year.
Oh.
Every December, I'd escape the cold and come to the summer, even though it was like my break. But it was. I came back and South Africa was looking. It was tough, and I lost a lot of family members that side, and I couldn't bury them in like funerals on the phone. So it mentally took a toll, but also I think because I was touring so much, it allowed me to
As a release.
and I fed that back to the piece.
Yeah.
Which was really nice to be able to give the piece something for it to keep moving.
But what did you started off in radio. You started off in radio, but now you had you were kind of offered a position, but what made you feel like, okay, I have to pursue this abroad?
Yeah.
You have your UP. I studied at UP. I'm always going to
Yeah, just throw that out there, yeah.
It's theatre acting at UP, but there are other various institutions as well where you can train theatrically in South Africa. So, but what made you feel like, no, I have to pursue something internationally. I have to put myself out there. I do have to step into the discomfort of it.
I think I've always been a very curious person, and I was fortunate to have parents who traveled. So it was very much in my blood to travel, to want to see the world. And by the time I did matric, I was like, I'm going to take a gap year and I'm going to travel Europe. And my mom was like, you've been hanging around too many white people.
Wow.
She's like, on whose money? My parents were like, oh, whose budget? And I was like, no, but like, Samantha or whoever's parents paid for to like, travel to Europe.
So
They're like,
me too.
reel it in, Untaki, reel it in. I was like, no, I'll go au pair. They're like, you're not going. You're not going.
You're and happy au pair, like you can be making your
They're
own.
like, "Are you in Dao? If you're gonna travel with us." And I'm like, okay, sharp. So I always knew that I wanted to be outside of South Africa. I always knew that I wanted to see the world. I didn't just want to travel and come back, because that I think I'd already got feels from. But I actually wanted to live and feel another culture and see what that would look like. And this is why I was actually moving to Japan before I got derailed to Norway. So it's, and I think the industry for me was, I was working crazy hours. I was producing, I was doing acting, and on top of that, I was also doing traffic for 947. So, and I was doing weekend. So it was, I was sleeping this much. And I remember that at that time, the industry was like, no, you need a degree, or you need to be like a thespian to come into the industry. And I only had a radio background, and I studied TUT, so I studied languages. So I was more of a comms and had journalism. I've lived many lives.
Many hats.
So there was a lot of things there, I think, that were happening. And for me, I was like, okay, then I'll go get that degree.
Okay.
And this time I'm going to go get an international one. When you're a high achiever.
And overachievers, it's in your blood.
It's in my blood.
Yeah, but what would you say for, I guess, someone who's starting up their career in the industry in South Africa? Would you advise them to also maybe see what it's like internationally as well? Maybe starting up, or maybe when they're settled in the industry in South Africa, to just check abroad, to maybe also enhance their acting skills maybe?
Is it an enhancer?
Maybe just to like take some inspirations maybe.
I think when I look at that, I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot in terms of different practices, in terms of different tools of making work, right? But what I also took from that is they have taken a lot of our own traditional things and turned that into contemporary, and given us their Western version of what performance is.
I've heard about that.
So we have a lot of unpacking and decoloniality to do within the performance game, right? So it's, I don't know, it depends on what do you want? It depends on what do you want. Do you want to be a traditional actor? Then don't go, because now I have to have a dialect coach to come back with my accent.
What now?
I'm you know, like no director wants a you know, you know what I mean? So you must also look at what is it do you want? Do you want to be on Ishak? Or do you want to create your own work? Do you want to are you curious? You know what I mean? Because I went as thinking that I'm a vessel and I just want to read the lines and embody character, right?
Yes.
And I came back as the vessel is me.
Okay.
Of course.
I'm the creator rather than embodying someone else's work. And my brain has opened so much in terms of how to create in theater, because I think my career in entertainment, I mean, Jesus, I started in radio, I went into television, and I was doing behind the scenes. Like, I wanted to understand what the guy behind the camera is doing, the runner, the researcher, the director. So I was I was lucky to be part of a production company. I think we were launching Alex TV at the time. And it was like, they didn't really want to pay us. So they didn't really have a budget. So it was like internship. You do alles. You're the producer.
The language of this industry.
Right? You're the producer. You're the director. You're the writer. You're the researcher. As much as it was nonsense in terms of finances,
Right.
I really, really learned a lot because
Experience.
I was managing my own team at like 25. Like I was producing my own show, and then I'd like take off the producer hat, come back. I'm like, okay, and welcome, blah, 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 blah. And then they're like, director's cut. And you're playing all these roles, and I'm not sleeping. I'm writing my next script, and I'm researching.
Writing.
But I'm also a writer because I studied languages, right? So, and then you have all of these moving pieces come together. And then I think what Norway taught me is how to take all those moving pieces and create a brand.
Okay. That is beautiful, because I want to ask you, like, upon coming back from Norway, you know, as the brand that you now had developed, right? Coming back into this South African industry, was there some sort of renegotiating with yourself artistically that you had to do? Was there some, because you were, I'm sure you learned so much in your piece, in your solo piece. I'm sure you had to, it was a finding of yourself. So did you have, when you came back, was there like a renegotiating of self after that, some sort of discovery?
It's good that you talk about the piece, because 2023, I had decided to bring it to the Market Laboratory.
Okay.
And I'd gotten funding from the Norwegian government to tour it. So I was like, because the critics in Norway, it was too, that piece is my ancestor. It has its own life.
Right.
It erupted a whole art culture in Norway. Like it pioneered, it changed the discourse. The reviews were good. The reviews were racist. The racists came at it.
I can imagine.
It was so bad,
too
right?
African.
Listen, I had a review that broke the camel's back when I was like, I'm done. It was like bitchy realism in fucked up rituals.
Wow.
It reads, a large black woman roams freely in Studio USF Bergen. He calls me a hoe. He calls me...
That's not a
says
review.
TUT was the outskirts of Johannesburg, a university in the outskirts of Johannesburg.
That's not a review.
And he came for me. And I remember I was reading this review and I saw him writing when I was performing. But I was like, no, but the newspaper heard it, the critics came already 2 days ago. Like, who's this guy? And I read this whole thing. It was vomit. And I went onto my art network and I said, first of all, fuck you, Knut. I was done. And the next day I was on a plane home. I was like, if I never work in this country again, I'm good. I'm like, fuck you, Knut, and fuck the newspaper for publishing this piece of shit you call a review. And in case you didn't read right, fuck you again.
Wow.
The art industry went insane. You will never work again. You cannot use such profanity. I'm like, where did he use
That's
logic?
what I'm trying to say.
Now I must sit behind the computer and type it. I regret to read that. No, you didn't. I triggered every bone in your body. And then I realized that I didn't know who this guy was. He was one of the most well-known theater professors in Norway. At 72, I'm like, the old apartheid is in you. You know what I mean?
You know the right to
and
do such thing like that.
Then the theater that I was performing at, he had helped create the theater. So it was like, how dare you come into my space and claim space? And I'm like, and I'm about to claim more space. And so for a while, people didn't touch me. They're like, hey, that one, she's too spicy. And I'm like, that's fine. That's fine, because you didn't come for me. You didn't come for the work, you came for me.
Oh, my day.
Fast forward, I decided to tour. And the tour was touring around Germany a lot as well, Germany and Norway. And I decided to bring it to South Africa. And it's sabotage. Who does she think she is? Well, and her, whatever. But anyway, they didn't sell the tickets until 2 days before show.
Okay.
Yep. And people couldn't buy tickets. It wasn't advertised. It was such a mess to a point where I was like, I left my team in Norway because I was like, I want to create job creation. I know that it's hard for artists, but I also want to do an exchange because I come with my set of skills, but also I don't know traditional South African theater like that. So let's do an exchange and whatnot. My tech dropped me a week before. guys in. And to answer your question, long story.
Wait, when you say your tech dropped you,
she's like, she got another job and I had already paid her.
But
you can't do that.
When you say tech, what do you mean? Because I would assume, right, when you
technician.
When you
lighting and sound, right?
Yes. Yeah. And I wanted a woman because I wanted that, like the whole piece moves around. It's either I look for a person of color or I look for a woman.
So in booking your market theater or whatever, they don't come with that. Because I remember we went to the...
Sometimes they do.
Sometimes they do.
You're saying that you can have choice.
I can, but I also had the funds.
So she can just travel with crew,
So
right?
I was like, come do rehearsals with me.
Exactly.
So that we can really nitpick the performance.
There you go. Instead of having to teach someone.
Yes.
Yeah.
And because I didn't bring my technical team.
Okay.
Because had I brought my technical team, they would have just had a conversation with the technical team.
Exactly.
Yeah, just a chat.
Yeah,
exactly.
And be like, no, we do this and this.
Yeah.
But I was like, I want to share the engagement. And a week before she dropped me. Anyway, I took that as a silver lining because I was like, at least my friends and family get to finally watch this piece.
Right.
And it's a very technical piece. It's very, because I'm alone on stage.
Exactly.
I'm relying on light. It's got light. It's got tapings on the floor. It's a very precision, light-orientated voice, sound. There's blind spots for the audience. The audience is sitting in abstract places. Sometimes you see me, sometimes you don't see me. You have to sit in it. It activates all your senses.
Right.
Sometimes I'm visible, sometimes I'm not. And then there's this room that I walk into that you don't even know when I'm going into, and it pops up. So it's very, very, very technical. But I wanted to also share that knowledge and but also take as well, So, and that was the first awakening that I might be indifferent. But the review was beautiful. And I finally felt heard because my archive in the piece spoke louder than my education. My Africanism was louder than my education.
Okay.
Right? So my education taught me the tools, but who I am as an African revealed itself in the piece.
Okay.
And then I was like, okay, the theater community is a clique.
It is.
It's a little clicky. But I was also just like, that's okay. Like, I'm kind of person who's like, I follow what spirit tells me. Like, if it's like, it's the season to take a break from theater, I'll come back. There's always, like, I've been circling around almost everything in entertainment and theater. how I moved from radio to journalism to voice to dance. It's, for me, art is sustainability. Like, I think we had this conversation about sustainability. Sustainability is purely, sometimes we look at being an artist as in like, no, I'm a visual artist. No, I'm an actor. No, I'm a singer.
Right.
No, boo-boo, what pays my bills? Whatever it is, I'll do it. You want me to dance with a tambourine? Yeah, let's go. You know what I mean?
I get it though, yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think for me, it keeps my creative juices going.
Okay.
It helps me to have space. Like if I take a break from acting, then I have space from that. Then I can go get inspired in singing, or I can go get inspired in voice work. Or right now I'm busy writing a poetry book, and I never thought.
Ooh, a poetry book. Girl, come on. What kind of multifaceted?
Because I was going to ask now,
level?
do you think it's advised that artists, like you said, should not just pigeonhole themselves like, oh, I'm an actor, I'm a dancer. Rather just wear and learn a lot of other fields so that you could also branch yourself out into the industry as well?
I think it also feeds back into your original work.
Like, let's say I love to sing and dance, right?
Yeah.
Rather focus and do more on those things rather than just focusing on singing or dancing, rather just doing both, as an example.
Are you talking about fundamental, or are you talking about in the career?
I'm talking about, let's say, there are interests that I have, right? Let's say I love to act, I love to dance, I love to sing. Rather than just honing in that one skill of either acting, singing, or dancing, rather just focus on enhancing all three skills so that you can have a better availability for yourself in the industry. Because I'm pretty sure that's what you did as, you know,
If
radio.
I had a penny for each time somebody told me, like, I should pick a niche.
You see?
That used to be, like, I couldn't understand. I was like, why did you make me this way? Why can I not pick a niche, you know? And realizing that actually I don't need to pick a niche. I really do not. In especially in the climate of today, where everybody's wearing so many different hats to survive. How are we honing into niche? If I'm a full-time actor and there's no work, what am I gonna do?
Exactly.
What am I doing in the meantime?
Like, for example, like the COVID situation.
Right.
You know? That I use that as an example for everything. Because a lot of people, editors found jobs.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, many different jobs.
Dimple and I, we're both actors, but we're working here at a production studio. So I'm an editor, and Dimple, what are you?
Multifaceted.
Yeah, there you go. Camera operator, editor.
Please, don't box me. Did you not hear?
But that's the thing. You see, we're qualified actors, but right now we're not on set. We're literally, you know, hosting a podcast at a production studio.
Diversifying.
And that's lovely.
Yeah.
That is lovely. For me, it's like you know as an actor that once the camera goes on, what I need to do.
Right.
True.
It's part of it.
True.
Right? And you know that as an actor, your voice needs to be warmed up when you actually come and have a conversation on the mic, right?
Definitely.
So in essence, it's all feeding back in. And even if you're a performer, in order for a podcast to keep going, you need to perform manana. You know what I mean? You need to like activate that hat in. But at the same time, who comes up with the concepts?
Yes.
Right? Those are your ideas. That's your producing brain.
Right.
That's your producing brain. So for me, when people ask like, okay, so how do you always get I stay ready. Like there's always going to be, like for instance, the poetry book is just, my performance is majority poetry. I never
Like 90%,
really
yeah, you said.
thought of myself as a poet per se. It was one of those things. And this came as it was a misunderstanding with someone about something. And then Spirit was like, you're going to write a book. And this is like now in beginning of May. I'm like, I'm going to write a poetry book. Yeah. You have the material. I'm like, you must be kidding me. I was like, okay, cool. Started writing. I think I'm like 10 chapters in now.
10?
Yes, because I allowed what was needed within my creativity to be there.
The vessel.
When you allow your creative vessel, there are times where I will wake up on a Saturday morning and it's like, go write.
Yeah.
Follow that thread. Because if we want to talk about spirituality, you're channeling.
You are. And performance is really channeling. It really is. Like I can't remember who I was having a conversation with, but I was like, performance is really spiritual.
It is.
It is spiritual.
You cannot not be a creative and not be spiritual because all of this is created.
Right.
Right? Where does the creation come from? So the writing, the ideas, like carry a notebook. If you see something and you're like, or even just on your phone and just record it. Or sometimes I have a tune in my head and I'm like, I'm going to record it. I don't know what I'm going to use it for. I always keep an archive. And I was saying to my manager and I was like, she's like, yeah, Jen, I need you to, I'm like, girl. She's like, I stay ready. So if somebody needs something, I'm like, actually, I have. If I go to a networking event, I'm not going just to introduce myself. I always say, like, when I've done lectures with students, I would say, your elevator pitch.
Yeah.
Let it be ready. Tell me what you do before I ask you what you do.
Right.
But don't tell me overtly. Don't be like, hi, my name is Dudu. I'm a blah, 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 blah.
It must be in, like,
hey, you're an actor too. Oh, yeah. This acting game.
Okay.
Make it
so,
inviting, basically.
But also, like, it's like the archive that you created is like you're pulling from that. It's like, okay, cool. I get what you mean.
So this, I would say like a database, right? So if I have a tune in my head for a song or a melody, record. Okay, great. Oh, that line was so great. Type it up. I move once a while. I move all of that stuff into my Google Doc, and I just have random pages that I don't even know what they're for.
Right.
The day I'm supposed to create, the day somebody asks me to do something, I have an archive. I have a room full of information that I can feed from. I'm not starting from scratch.
I have that with my notebook.
Yo, this is so interesting.
So the trick is not to constantly, like when somebody asks you.
Cool.
Because you're constantly in a creative space. You're constantly thinking of things. You'd be like, oh, that would have been a dope idea. And then it goes.
And you didn't write it down. And then another moment comes and you're like, there's something I thought of that tune. What's that tune? Now you can't remember what that tune is.
So it's not about you doing anything with it. It's just there. And what I find, if we're going to talk about spirituality, you're manifesting it. By its presence existing, you're calling something to it so that it can grow.
That's ma'am. So what's next for Dudu? What can we look forward to?
Yeah, what's the poetry book called? Do you have a title yet?
I have a
working title.
Yeah.
Okay.
What is it called again? Because it's been like a month and a half.
It's in the archive. It's fine.
It was in May.
You pull it out.
Something about when, I think it's water meets the bones.
Water.
Or when voice meets the bone. Or something like that. But it's very much that book. That book is ancestors, it's guides, it's God, it's channel. It reverberates in ways that I don't even understand. Like, I don't know. Like, I think I'm speaking. It's ancient. It's speaking to the soul. Whether it's the public can see that as something as they relate to or not, but it's my healing. And that is something that I enjoy about art, is that it's your joy, it's your healing, it's your progress. And if artists can only like remember that as part of who we are, we have the gift to create as part of our process of life. When we love, we can create. When we're angry, we can create. When we're in pain, when in whatever emotion or season that we're in, we have the ability to birth something. That is the beauty of who we are. Let's not waste that. Like, I've had so many, like last year I lost my father, and that was the final, like, I'm coming home. I've been home like, 8-9 months? And I was like, I'm finally coming home. But I think this is the birth of all of that, of grief maybe, but it's also grief surviving, you know? Manifesto was the grief of indifference.
Right.
You know, so my performance lectures was the grief of this and grief of that. So even in joy, because I hate this concept of, as artists, we must bleed for our art. No, I rebuke that. I resist that. I'm in active resistance of joy. I'm in active resistance of rest as an artist. And I think we need to find new ways for us to exist and create without us burning out.
Right.
Because we're told that in order for us to be a pure artist, no. Because creativity is channel. It's not exhaustion.
So you define yourself as an artist, yeah.
So for me, the sky's the limit. I'm a sitting duck. Whatever my ancestors are ready to tell me what to do, I'm just like, you'll tell me when you're ready, né? Sharp.
Thank you.
And when they're
so
ready,
much.
they'll say left. I'm like, left.
You went right there.
Huh?
You went right there.
You want me there? Okay, sharp. And then that one? Okay, I'll sit still.
Right.
Great. So that's a wrap from all of us here at Seen and Heard. If you haven't liked, commented, or subscribed, please do that to keep in the loop. And from our hearts to yours, there's more love.